Glad to know you're still with us. We're still talking sports right here at Channels TV Sports Center in Lagos, Nigeria. You can be part of the show by sending us comments, questions, and suggestions on Twitter, our channels, _sports, and on Facebook, our channels life sports. So much to talk about now, guys. Let's go to the CHAN qualifiers. 2016, it will be another opportunity for players in the domestic leagues to show their talents right there in Rwanda. But let's take a look at the final round, second leg results. A good one for Nigeria and also Mali.
Yeah, Mali have always been particularly strong, especially in domestic football. Where Onye would attest to that. Malian clubs are particularly, Stade Malien and a few other clubs in Mali are particularly strong, so no surprises there. But Mauritania did particularly well at the last CHAN. One of the most exciting teams there. Unfortunately, they will not be there. Senegal defeating Guinea 3-1, 3-3 aggregate. Interesting. So Senegal were eliminated and Guinea qualified on the away goals. That was a big surprise for a lot of people. Then that game in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso versus Nigeria ending 2-0 on aggregate in favor of Nigeria. And then there's also Gabon also losing at home to Chad. Surprising scoreline, but Gabon still qualified on the 2-1 aggregate. Ethiopia hammering Burundi by 3-0. Ethiopia qualifying 3-2 on aggregate. Mozambique and Zambia played out a 1-1 draw. Zambia had already won the first leg by 3-0. Zambia qualifying comfortably. Angola losing at home by 1-2 to South Africa. South Africa promised that they were going to win in Angola to make up for the 2-0 loss at home. They did win, but was not enough for them to qualify. South Africa are out. Angola qualified on the 3-2 aggregate. Lesotho and Zimbabwe playing out a 1-0 draw. Zimbabwe qualifying 4-2 on aggregate. Sudan versus Uganda. Sudan losing at home. I beg your pardon. Sudan losing at home by 2-0. Then Uganda there's a mistake in that. Uganda qualified, not Sudan. Uganda qualified on a 4-0 aggregate. So it's no surprises really in terms of the score. And then also remember that the North African qualifiers have also been concluded. So here are the teams that qualified for the 2016 CHAN. Rwanda, host nation, Democratic Republic of Congo, Morocco, Tunisia, Mali, Guinea, Nigeria. There's also Zambia in that group as well, in that mix as well. Niger, Gabon, Uganda, Ethiopia, Zimbabwe, and Angola. How
about when you look at this competition from the qualifiers, you can tell that in 2016 we're seeing real good football.
Yeah, I agree with you, Austin. You see, when the idea for this tournament came up, there were a lot of criticism against it, but it has weathered the storm. Unfortunately, the first two editions we didn't qualify. The last time we qualified, we got to we won the bronze. So for me, I think the present CHAN team is a reflection of the best in our league, and that's why we are getting the kind of result we had in Burkina Faso. Going to Ouagadougou to get a goalless draw, it's not a mean feat. Considering the fact that we had a penalty against us in the 21st minute.
Three of our
defenders were on yellow cards.
But as early as the first 25 minutes.
So we must commend these boys for their mental toughness. Because when you play away, you have to be very alert. You're playing against the referee, the partisan crowd.
Probably the weather.
Yes, and we also have to commend the Nigerian Football Federation, because I learned that if they had gone through a commercial flight, they would have gone to Abidjan first and connect Abidjan to Ouagadougou. And if you are playing away, the worst problem is terrible flight arrangement. I've seen a team from Nigeria arrive for an away game on the day of the game, and the players on the bench were sleeping during the game. And you can imagine what will be happening to the players on the pitch. So I think we must commend everybody that had one thing or the other to.
The NFA has been doing very well in terms of travel arrangements for our teams. We've been traveling by chartered flights over the past few games anyway. So we must commend them.
Also say well done to the NFA for the bonus. I give it to the team for qualifying. That's pretty good. Meanwhile, some people say, it's just football, But it's okay, just to motivate the CHAN Eagles to do bigger things as we get ready for the championship in Rwanda. We've got another break now. When we come back, we'll talk the LMC, Nigeria Professional Football, and of course, Warri Wolves. Some Warri Wolves being in the news. We'll tell you when we come back. Don't go anywhere. Stay. Welcome back in Sports Tonight on Channels TV. Let's quickly go to this talk from the LMC. kind of a warning, but if Warriors are not careful, it will be imposed on them. This 6-point deduction is really massive because Warriors at the moment are the second on the table. And the LMC, as I said, Warriors, Taraba, FC, and Dolphins have been added 6 points deduction for failing to meet the welfare of players and officials. The points deduction will be activated by November the 14th if the clubs fail to remedy the breach. The league management company has also issued a first deadline to both clubs, which elapsed on Sunday, October the 25th. So no excuses. You were warned and then you didn't keep to it. Warriors on the 25th of August issued a 60 days notice to pay off the debts owed to players and officials. Taraba FC was also on October the 2nd issued an ultimatum of 10 working days to commence payments on debts owed to players. LMC warns Warriors players to follow due process in embarking on strike or face ban. So what I would just say to the Delta State government is, look at Warriors and look at their position on the table, and they've been playing remarkably well.
Yeah, Austin, even without their key players, they hammered Aqua United 3-0. Joseph Osadia got a hat-trick.
Stepped up.
Last week. So I saw a story that was credited to a certain character within the club when the players went on strike, insinuating that it was an insider who instigated the protest. So this one from the LMC was also instigated from an insider in the club. So I think we shouldn't be hearing this kind of stories where players, after sweating it out on the field, traversing the breadth and length of this country on horrendous, road trips, and you don't pay them their salaries. It's unacceptable.
Actually, the timing doesn't look bad. From the time the LMC warned Warriors till now that they are saying this, and absolutely nothing has been done.
Yeah, well, we must realize that a lot of these clubs, they are owned by government, and these governments are facing serious financial constraints, and that is what is causing the shortfall in allocations to many of these clubs. Some people have advocated, especially within LMC, that these state governments should move players' salaries from these clubs from whichever list, or from the state budget into recurrent or overheads. Because even if salaries are not paid, if capital projects are not being carried out, overheads and recurrent expenditures will always be paid. So maybe they should now become a bit more creative in how they fund these clubs. Then also these clubs, these state governments themselves, they have to take a good look at these clubs. Are they sustainable? Are they meeting the objectives that we want them for? Look, if it's not a do or die situation where we must have 20 Premier League clubs. If we have just 6 or 8 and they are playing quality football and they are being funded properly, that is better than having 20 clubs and out of the 20, probably over maybe 16 or 15 of them are starving. So we have to readdress our model. Now we have states that, we keep saying it here, some states can barely take care of one club. Yet we have states who have 2 clubs.
So what next now for our Warriors and this? Because it's more than a threat.
Yeah, they have to pay. Between now and November 14, I think they have more than 2 weeks. And I know that they will pay. They just this ultimatum is going to spur them to pay. But for the FC Taraba, I don't really know. You know what they did last time? They were given an ultimatum. They paid 1 month.
They can take 1 month.
Paid 1 month and escaped the ultimatum. And I feel sorry for the players because if they get relegated, they are not going to get anything.
Yeah.
Especially FC Taraba and Dolphins. For Warriors, I know the Delta State government will pay because, like we all have agreed here, the team is doing so well. Yeah. And they are likely going to clinch a continental ticket, and they even have a mathematical chance of winning the league if they can go to Eyimba on week 37 and get a victory. And
that's why they need all the motivation in the world. So we'll also monitor that situation. A lot of situations to monitor right here in Nigeria as regards our league football. We're about to go now. Before we go to the 1 minute, how can you describe Lewis Hamilton, back-to-back champion?
Well, was a really, really good performance. But it was also helped by the fact that Nico Rosberg made a terrible mistake.
That's been the story this season. When Rosberg is not doing well, Hamilton gets motivated and goes all the way.
Exactly. Nico Rosberg made a terrible mistake, and that cost him his first place on the grid, which Hamilton did not relinquish till the end of the race. And Sebastian Vettel also came third. But as it stands now, there is no mathematical way that any of his closest rivals can catch him, which was what handed him the title. Yes, he's I think the second British man to win three world titles, but he's still way behind the all-time leader, the great Michael Schumacher, who has 7 titles. But who says he cannot emulate that? He's just 30. Probably has a few good more years in him, and if he's also helped by bad decisions by opponents as well, who says that he cannot go on to capture more titles. So he was in tears because he equaled a record set by a British man, and interestingly, the gentleman was there as well to watch him being handed his title. So fantastic for Lewis Hamilton. He's doing great things.
That's it. Undisputed champion Lewis Hamilton, winner of the 2015 F1 season. I'm doing big things right there with Mercedes. Tunde, Onyebuchi, thank you so much, guys, for coming around.
Thanks for having me.
Tomorrow there will be so much to talk about, so you must keep a date with us. That's the show for today. But remember, you can keep talking to us on Twitter, our channels_sports, and on Facebook, our channels Sports. That's the show on behalf of the ever-winning sports team at Channels TV Sports Center in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm Austin Okonakman. We'll be back again tomorrow to talk some more sports, but until then, in everything you do, remember to keep talking sports. Bye for now.